Hi friends, I'm back again with a small little rambling post of mine, which I do only once in a while, only when I feel I have come across something really worthwhile for all of you and for me indeed. So I came across this beautiful book called Ichigo Ichi. I have mentioned this term in one of my earlier posts on Ikigai, which is the Japanese term for basically finding something that you love to do and which engrosses you so much that you lose a sense of time and everything else and just are completely immersed into that. So the term Ichigo Ichi is something similar, but it's more about appreciating the moment that the present. So Ichigo Ichi means, in a sense, now is the opportunity, and now is all. Now never comes again. Now is a unique moment, and you have to seize the moment. So that's really the principle of it, and it is basically cultivating a state of mind to accept and immerse yourself and enjoy the present, which will never come again. Like I said in another post, somebody said life is like a river, so you're never seeing the same river at any point of time from your perspective. The water keeps moving, and the river that you see now is not the river that you have seen a second ago. So that is the power of the uniqueness of the present instant, as they say. The example of the cherry blossom always comes in any Japanese philosophy. So the sakura flower or the cherry blossom flower, the beauty of that is the Japanese celebrate the cherry blossom season really to celebrate this beauty of the present moment or the fleeting moment called now. So I heard that, for example, the cherry blossom actually happens over a period of 2 weeks. So the first sighting of the bud is celebrated all over the country. So in fact, every city, it seems, in Japan has got a special cherry blossom tree whose first bud is noticed and mentioned in the national news. So every city's first bud of the season is actually talked about. So that is the first moment that they celebrate the arrival of the bud. And then the flower becomes in full bloom after about a week or so, and that is the state called mankai, which is its full bloom state, so where it has achieved its full potential. And then within a week or so, the petals start dropping out. So it's basically the whole celebration is for this 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks of this cherry blossom flower. And so the beauty of that ceremony is that they know that what has begun today is going to end in a few weeks, and so we must celebrate it while it lasts. So they don't celebrate the Sakura festival just in the daytime, but also in the night. So they tie lanterns on the cherry blossom trees, and they go for picnics in the night in the parks and sit around the cherry blossom trees with a glass of sake and any other Japanese snacks, and that's how they celebrate. So this something I really found very interesting. It's a very simple thing, but the whole society of Japan kind of makes it a huge celebration, and with a deep inner meaning of the fleetingness of time. The other beautiful thing that I read in this book was, it's a term which I had heard long back, but it resurfaced with this book. So it's a term called late bloomers. So basically it talks about the fact that there is no particular age in which you need to discover your calling or find your passion. It can happen in the prime of your life, it can happen in childhood, but it can also happen when you're post-prime. I'm just past 60 years of age, and I personally feel that I'm stepping into the best stage of my life. And that because I feel that no matter what good or what bad I've done in life, I think I have discharged my social and familial duties reasonably well, and without too many complaints on me. But I also feel that now that frees me up to really focus on those few things that make sense to me personally. They may not mean anything to anybody else, including my immediate family, but those things mean immensely something to me at the personal level. And when I talk about these, I'm basically referring to my creative interests, whether it be music or novel writing or any inspirational writing or speaking interest that I have. So I have taken to these with a vengeance now. I do not know how long the body will permit me to do these things, but as long as I am alive, I intend to continue these, whether I am appreciated or not, whether people think I'm doing well or not, whether people want to hear me or not. I'm going to do this to pursue my inner calling and hold myself to a gold standard just for my own sake and not for the sake of appreciation of anybody else. So that has given me enormous amount of energy and enthusiasm at this age, and I wanted to say that the same can be true for you. Do not right away, or do not ignore those passions that have been there in you for a long time, which you have put inside and locked inside a box because you had earthly duties to fulfill and responsibilities to honor. Maybe it's time also to look into that box once again, pick out one or two things and start pursuing them. You never know when you might either drop completely, or you never know when you might get that moment of euphoria when you would say, oh wow, this is what my life was meant to be. That was the other, so the term late bloomer appealed to me very much, and we are in an age where health levels are better, economic levels are better at retirement, and for those of us who have done reasonably okay in life, it is a duty that we should pick up something good at the age of 60, so that we continue to remain useful to society and also meaningful to our own selves. Now, in the context of late bloomers, I read this beautiful example of a person called Mr. Bernstein from UK, who wrote his first novel at the age of 97 in the year 2007. And when he was asked why write a novel at this age in life, so he said that he lost his wife a few years or months ago, and he was very despondent, and writing actually took away part of the grief and took away the distraction and made him feel motivated. So writing motivated him at that age in life when he became truly lonely and after the loss of a partner. And he went on to write 3 more novels and died at the age of 101 after 4 novels of his were published, starting at the age of 97. So it's a very, very positive reinforcement for us to pick up our neglected interests and callings, no matter at what age in life we are. So this was the other beautiful thing I read in this book. I'm not promoting this book. I genuinely feel that these are books that can change or at least make a few moments of our life better. And nobody's paying me to do all this. The other beautiful thing that I read in this book was that actually a very simple truth, that in life actually there are only 4 emotions. And these emotions are anger which can come out of a sense of disappointment or victimization. The second is sadness or sorrow, which comes from a sense of loss. The third is fear, the fear of a potential loss or potential damage. And the fourth state is happiness. You could call indifference or dispassionateness or calmness or composure as a fifth state, but that is actually a state which means a lack of any emotional influence. So the beauty is that of all these 4 states, the first 3, which is anger, sorrow and fear, are linked to the past. You cannot have anger or fear or sadness in the future. You can only have them in the past. And so these 3 emotions are basically brought to life only when you cling to the past. On the other hand, happiness, well, technically, you can be happy thinking about some good thing in the past, but mostly happiness comes from an experience of the current moment. So, being in the present moment also gives you, therefore, the possibility of not thinking about the past, and therefore cutting away any possibility of anger, sorrow, or fear. And when that is taken away, you are either in a state of calmness, or you're in a state of excitement or pure bliss or pure joy, which is all related to happiness. So, being in the present, or ichigo ichi, also means that not clinging to the past, which may have had a lot of pain or bad memories associated. I really love these things in this book, and I thought I'd share this with you for whatever worth it is. These are not my creations, but these are just my interpretations of what I read in this book, and I hope you like them.